Hey everybody, Jason Grimm here, Cloud Architect on the Cisco Hybrid Cloud team, and we'll be looking at CloudCenter today and how you can do some basic VM initialization work with some scripts. So I'll start with how it's made first here, and these are the application profiles. This is a test image or app profile that I have to work with. And if I go and edit that, there's only a few things you need to add here. One is a global parameter for my key. Name it whatever you want. I named it my key. Made it visible and also optional if the user wants to add that. And then my user is the only other variable that I'm passing in. And within the modeler, if you select the VM and you go down to node initialization, on VM init, you'll see I'm running this command, which is really, it's not a command, it's just a pointer to a URL to a script that I've posted. CloudCenter, by default, if you put a URL in here, it's going to go and get that file and execute it. We'll go through the file itself, and I'll post this in the YouTube comments below. But note, you should, if you do use this, put it on your own repo. This is one of my test GitHub repos that I'm using, so there's no guarantee that this will even stay up there, or if it does, in its correct format. There's other CloudCenter community repos, one that my team hosts, and I'll probably post a version of that there and update the description as well with what the final version of that looks like. But to configure your profile to use this, create your parameters, and in node init, just put the script in there. So what this looks like when we launch it, give it a name. And I'll just tag this to age out in an hour. And that's it. The parameters show up here. You could even hide all these parameters so they're not visible to the user if you have a default key. Now, granted, this is one way you could do it. A less elegant way would be to bake this into your VM image, and a more elegant way would be to either curl out based on a username variable to go and get a key and do the work, or even better yet, use a key store or a key vault and go out and get that by API, feeding parameters at execution time into that request so the right keys and users get created. But for now, on this occasion, we're just going to do it within CloudCenter. Now, I'll just take all the defaults here. And in this, what I was really trying to do is avoid assigning my own public key or trying to figure out what the CloudCenter managed key was. I just wanted the VM to launch and to have at least one account on there that was in sudoers and had my SSH key already in there. So we'll hit deploy on that, and I've got another one that's already up and running, and I've got the IP address of that. We'll go and look at it though. Is VM init 1 here. So this is the last one that I deployed. Here's my IP address, and because that's the same one. Whoops. Because I used the user I created was the same one. That's my local user. I can just SSH straight in. It's going to pass my name. I'm in now this user. I can sudo to root, obviously, and if I, well, I'll switch over here to the script. There's a few things that it does. So it just sources some variables that CloudCenter is passing in. I did this so that when I call these variables, my user and my key that I passed in, that they actually get passed through and I can do things with them. I create, if the user already exists, it does nothing. If not, I create the user, and if a new user doesn't have a .ssh directory or an authorized keys file, unless you do create it by hand or do an SSH keygen, we'll create at least a .ssh directory. But knowing that this is a brand new user, I go ahead and create those directories and put the appropriate permissions on them. Then I run a command to add my user to the wheel group and echo that user into etcsudoers as well. And then lastly, I'm just echoing into the user files a comment and then the key. So I'm passing the key as my variable. It's just echoing that out. So what it looks like on this side, do a couple checks. I'll grep for wheel and etc group. So you can see it added my new user there. And if I do a cat user authorized keys, I can see that this new user has in fact my key. We know it's there because I just SSH'd right into it, and it also added it to the clicker user account as well. So there's the default clicker key that was, or CloudCenter key that was put there, and then here's my new key. So I can actually log in with either of those if I want. So that's it. So just a quick way to natively create users and pass a set of keys in at deploy time. Thanks. Have a good one.